Let's take a look at Tuesday. There are only 3 games on, so we're going to be very careful about who we add for fantasy basketball. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We're free. We're available on all platforms, but we're also part of the #1 sports podcast network, the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us #1, and also thank you for the subscribe that I know you're about to give as we push towards 100k, and I get the play button, and then I do something with that play button on my separate OnlyFans. We are here to talk Tuesday. We're here to look at the action with 3 games on. We might as well get into those 3 games and just talk about what's going to go down. It is a low volume day, the lowest volume day of the week. Again, I think you can stream nearly every day this week, apart from Friday, but this is the one where your decisions are going to be important because the players that are available there's just fewer of them. There's just not as many of those guys that are around. Let's get in and take a look at what the schedule actually looks like. On Tuesday, there are the 3 games. Like I said, I'll say it again. There's 3 games on, just in case you didn't hear me say there are 3 games on. We have got an incredibly weirdly spread out day. A 7 p.m. game, which is the Hawks and the Wizards. The Hawks are 9.5 point favorites there. There's an 8 p.m. Eastern game, which is the Magic and the Sixers. And then, of course, as we all just go and have a, quick nap, there's an 8 p.m. Pacific game, which, of course, is an 11 p.m. Eastern game, which is between the Clippers and the Lakers. 3 games on. Time to have a bit of a snooze in the middle before that final game. So, that's it. Hawks, Wizards, Magic Sixers. Actually, Hawks have come in. It was Hawks by 10 when I first put this graphic up. And since I've done this, they've moved into 9.5. The Wizards, they're coming. Anyway, Magic Sixers, the second game, and Clippers, Lakers. As you're well aware, the Wizards and the Magic, this is the first of only 2 games for them this week. And their second game for both Magic and Wizards in what is J.K. Rowling Appreciation Week is on Friday, when there are 11 games on. So not ideal if you're streaming in Wizards guys or Magic guys. Yeah, use them on Tuesday, but you're probably not going to use them on Friday, which really does clearly reduce their utility. Let's take a look at the individual games. Hawks and Wizards, the first game. Trae Young will not be there for Atlanta. I'm very certain of that. The questions are going to be for what we do with like Marvin Bagley, because, well, not what we do. Marvin Bagley is questionable, which means that in deeper leagues, Tristan Vukcevic will get those backup minutes. Now, with only 3 games on, the definition of deeper league changes somewhat because you just don't have that many guys who are available. So yeah, normally I'd say Marvin Bagley is like a 200-player deep league stream guy. But if you're just looking to get somebody in, if you're in a 150 deep league, like Bagley is actually useful. Or if he's out, Vukcevic is useful in this type of scenario. Luke Kennard missed the last game for the Hawks, so don't know whether he's going to play. Porzingis missed the last game, but he will be back. That was a rest situation. The same with James Christian Middleton, who rested the last game. So both Middleton and Porzingis, I'm labeling them probable because they haven't told us 100% that they're playing, but they're playing, so that's fine. They're available. The ones you just got to wait for are Bagley and maybe the spiral, Luke Kennard, just to see whether he's there, because without him, you get more minutes from Vit Krejci. And theoretically, you get more from old mate Zachary Ricochet, but you don't. You get more minutes from Keaton Wallace in that scenario. The next game, we're talking Magic, we're talking Sixers. Goga Bitadze and Wendell Carter Jr. were both out, frustratingly so, on Sunday, but they're both not on the injury report. So they're both going to be back, and your Orlando Robinson 1-game start is dead. Jalen Suggs sat the last game as well. He's going to be back here too. And then Franz Wagner just keeps getting listed on the injury report because he's wearing a face mask, and they just keep saying he's playing. And our response should be, yeah, I know. Thanks. Miami does this all the time as well for whatever reason. We still don't have any Bona or Paolo Banchero. And this is not official, but I don't expect that Joel Embiid is making an appearance for the Sixers. What we do need to know is VJ Edgecombe. The Dominatrix sat the last game with a back issue. With him out, they start Quentin Grimes. Tyrese Maxey also, I'm not super worried about Maxey, but he did have a bit of a shoulder problem in the last game. And there's a small concern. I'm not massively worried about it. More of the concern is going to be on whether Edgecombe plays or not. And if VJ is out, then Grimes does more, McCain does more, which does become important. Again, the exact same story as the Vukcevic scenario. You wouldn't even consider McCain on most days. But if he pushes to 25 minutes because VJ's out, then we're in. This is also a really key data point. I talked about this on the recap show yesterday, is that if VJ plays, we know that McCain can play 25 minutes. So if McCain plays 12 minutes, it's not a minutes restriction. It's a talent restriction or a coaching priority restriction. So we really want to watch it because it's a key data point. And I love getting those key data points. No other injuries to really discuss on that one. We'll go on to the last game of the day. It is the Clippers and the Lakers. Jordan Miller's dealing with a hamstring injury. Bogdan Bogdanovic missed the last game for the Clippers. I'm labeling him questionable here. His minutes are just so unpredictable, but again, it is important because if he is out, the Colonel Kobe Sanders will play more. He played 30 minutes last game, Sanders. Chris Paul played like 18 minutes. And they become streamable options on a day like this. And then on the Lakers, this could be one of the key ones of the day because DeAndre Ayton left the game early. Jackson Hayes will be the guy, most likely. Jared Vanderbilt, by the way, DNP last game, even with Ayton missing. Hayes will be a key stream guy if Ayton misses with that knee contusion, but we don't know that at this point, and we just got to keep an eye on it to see exactly which direction they end up going or what they decide to. I think Ayton will be okay, but you just never know, man. Like, you just have no idea. Like, that could happen at any point. He's a big man. He's had knee problems. Hayes can be okay. Sort of, I guess, maybe. We'll see. We'll come back and we'll talk about hacking into the schedule. We'll talk about streams of the day and streaming options across multiple league sizes. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by Robinhood. Nobody knows your money goals better than you. Robinhood puts you in control of your money with tools that work as hard as you do. Locking in on every opening. You're beating your PR. You're beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto, all on one platform. And you can now build and execute your own trades from the desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, so expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that is robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Today's episode is also brought to you by Drip Drop. When I'm hydrated, I just find that everything works better. Your focus, your energy, your mood, even your skin, it glows. There's elasticity, there's bounce. And that's why I've been using Drip Drop. It's doctor-developed hydration that keeps me and you running at full power no matter what my day looks. I've got my bottle here, water with Drip Drop in it. It isn't your average sports drink though. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half of the sugar of leading brands. And using a science-backed formula that's trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top college and pro teams. Drip Drop is part of my daily routine. Go in the morning, get my coffee, wake myself up, get my Drip Drop into my water, and then we are ready to go. Because, like firefighters and like professional athletes, I am adept at using hoses and just showing my physical capabilities at all points. And I need Drip Drop to help me support that. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use the promo code LOCKEDONNBA. That is dripdrop.com/LOCKEDONNBA for 20% off. Stock up now before the rush is on and keep your body and your mind performing at their best with Drip Drop. Oh yeah, good old Drip Drop. We're here to talk streaming. We're here to talk schedule. We're here to talk the daily look ahead for Tuesday in Thanksgiving week across the NBA. So let's take a look. How does the schedule play out? Now, as we know, there are no back-to-backs Monday into Tuesday. You know that because you watched the Week 6 preview show that we did. You also know, watching that Week 6 preview show, that there are no back-to-backs Tuesday to Wednesday. So we can't take advantage of any back-to-backs. What we can do, though, is look at chunks. And there are 5 game days left this week. Only 4 of those game days are quality game streaming days. So between Tuesday and Sunday, Thursday is off, Friday's a non-stream day, we want to see what sort of players we can target. And honestly, there's only a couple of teams that really fit the bill here. There are 4 teams that have 3 quality games over that time frame. Boston, New Orleans, Minnesota, and who's the other one that I've just... Oh, Toronto. Yeah, they're forgettable. No wonder I didn't know that it was Toronto. They're completely out of my mind. They don't even exist. They're not real. But they've all got 3 quality games over the rest of this week, with avoiding Friday's game. There are players here, including Bobby Portis and Vince Williams, who only have 2 quality games over this time frame, but the quality of those quality games, the quality of the streaming of Bob and Vince, who you will use on that Friday anyway, make them worth picking up. So Jeremiah Fears is there. It has not been good from Jeremiah Fears for most of this season. It's surprising that he's in the starting role. It's surprising he's playing 29 minutes, but the overall stats are not very good. And I think after this really positive period of the schedule for the Pelicans, he probably will end up being a drop. Not only would Jordan Poole be back, DeJounte Murray we assume will be back at some point, but Fears is just not doing it. But that's okay, because right now, 3 quality games, the next 5 NBA game days, and he's one of only 4 teams that has that schedule going. So Fears has that appeal. I already said about Bob. A couple of Celtics guys, we don't know the status of Nemesh Cater. Now, it is possible that Luka Garza gets starts. I got no idea. It's possible that Xavier Tillman or Chris Boucher plays. But what I feel confident about is that Josh Minott and Jordan Walsh will play in all those games, all those 3 quality games. How much they will play, I don't know. Minott might play 26 minutes as a pseudo center. Walsh might play 20 because he's in foul trouble. I don't know. But Garza, Tillman, Boucher, all could be better. Easily. But I just don't know that they're going to play. They might get big, fat zeros. And if Cater's available, well, you just don't want any of those guys. We just don't know yet. And even if Cater is ruled out, we still don't know whether Garza, Tillman, and Boucher will be there. But Minott and Walsh, we feel pretty good they're going to at least play. Lesser down to like a Ugo Gonzalez or a Baylor Scheiman. They're not as guaranteed, but these 2 I think are. And like I said, Vince Williams only has 2 games on the low volume days, but it doesn't matter. You'd play him Friday anyway. And the value is still there to use him while Demetrius Morant is on the sidelines. We can look at the next schedule thing, and that is 5s and 2s. Starting Tuesday, heading through to Monday next week. Are there any teams that play 5 games? No. But there are 2 teams that play 2 games. So if you are considering fringe Warriors, fringe Trailblazers, don't. Their schedule's not that good. So Moses Moody, Brandon Pajemski, holding on to John Kuminga, trying Quinton Post. If you're a masochist, Gary Payton. I'm not criticizing. Do whatever you need to do. But those things are all going to be... Now, of course, the Warriors are playing today, and I believe that a bunch of guys are out. For them, I think they're resting a whole bunch of guys. So this is for Tuesday onwards, obviously. The Blazers, you may have been impressed with Young Hun Sen. You might have said, oh, look at Chris Murray or Sidi Sissoko. Don't. Like, only Caleb Love. And I don't know what's happening with Shaedon Sharpe. He's out again on Monday. Drew's out as well. But with only 2 games over the next 7 days, starting Tuesday, you shouldn't be getting excited about the replacement value of those guys on those teams. It's just not that interesting. We'll do the streams of the day. Now, who are the best streams for Tuesday? Which, again, there will be some adjustments to this. This is the NBA is an ongoing, evolving thing. It's part of why, and I know some people complain about this because it's not what fantasy they're used to. And I will continually contend that we should be looking to make things better and not just do something that started in 1995. Like, we've got to default to 2 centers. Do you? Why? Oh, we can only let you have 4 centers on a roster. Do you? Why? We can't have IL. Yeah, no, you should. No, we can only have 1. No, you should have more. What about this roster setup with 10 starters and 3 bench? Why? What about these categories? Why? How about we make it so that you have to just aggressively stream every day? Why? Just because that's what you're used to. I don't believe that's the best way. And that is why, again, this is a sidebar, but that is why in the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Bowl this season, there are changes to make fantasy, I believe, more accessible, more broad, and I also think more skill-based. We have a games cap. You can't just hard stream in and get as many more games as your opponent as possible. You can only get up to 40. That's it. 40 games, max. So you can't out-game volume someone. The other thing I did in that is make it so that you're not just picking up guys whenever you want. Streaming and being the first active person on there and having to pay attention always to add players is not the key. We have 2 waiver periods per week. We've got larger rosters, so you're never going to run short of players. But there's 2 waiver things, which adds extra strategy for those 2 times a week when you sit down and go, hey, who am I going to bid on here? Versus, let's make a reactionary move to grab someone because something's happening for this one game right now. I don't prioritize that in that league in those leagues because I just think it's and some of you are going to disagree. I love doing it and streaming and being the first to the waiver up. That's cool. That's how you do it. I just try to make it so that you don't have to be 100% plugged in at all times to fantasy to grab the guy as soon as someone gets hurt, to add it and to really just max through volume bashing. That's why we've done it. Yeah, and I know that's antithetical to what this show is, but I know how fantasy is played for most people. I just think that there are better ways. And I don't even know why I decided to go on that discussion then. Whatever. Stream of the day. Khris Middleton. He should be back. Trae Johnson is out. And not that Trae was playing well, but he takes a lot of shots. Now, Middleton is hit or miss. But he's going to start. He probably plays 25 or 26 minutes. He might get double-digit scoring. He might not. But losing Trae helps. Chris Dunn is my 12-team guy. I'm not excited about it, obviously, because he's not a high scorer, but he can have 6 assists, he can have 2 steals, he can have a block, he can have 4 steals. He might get double-digit points. And if Bogdanovic is out, it probably helps him somewhat. Your 14-team stream, I'm going with Vit Krejci. If the spiral is out, Krejci will play more. For whatever reason, Quinn Snyder loves Krejci at the moment. Last game, he had 1 point. I think he took 1 shot, and he still played 30 minutes. And in deeper leagues, he is available. And then for the deepest leagues, Bubbles, but not the Spurs one. Justin, old passion pop. Because with Trae Johnson out, I think he enters the rotation. And he's a rebounding, stealing, shot blocking, 3-point shooting, all-purpose wing. He's available everywhere. And this might be an opportunity. Now, he also might get 0 minutes. And you could consider Cam Whitmore there as well. Like, there's other options. But just losing somebody out of the rotation in Trae should mean that Champagnie steps in. For Yahoo points, we're going to Wizards again. Bilal Coulibaly is 21% rostered, and I understand why. He hasn't been very good. But when you're looking at a day like this, give me a 28, 29-minute starter. I'll take that. And then also 21% rostered on ESPN is Wendell Carter Jr. Missed the last game, but guys, just add him. What are you doing? He should not be sitting on this many waiver wires. Go and add Wendell Carter Jr. We'll come back and talk more streams in a sec. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by Game Time. And with basketball season officially here, being in the arena to watch your favorite teams is awesome, but getting tickets has been a headache-inducing process for so long. You get queues, surprise fees, surges in prices right before checkout. It's frustrating when all you want to do is get there, sit down, smash some beers and hot dogs and watch your favorite team play. That's where Game Time comes in. It's the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. You can grab seats for games anywhere. You can grab it right on the day of the game. And hopefully those prices start dropping. You got the view from your seat. The price that you see is the price that you pay. Plus you can get NBA tickets for under $25 on Game Time as well. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. All right, we're here doing the daily look ahead, previewing Tuesday with 3 games on. The old spread, the spread out day. Big fan of spread out days, but probably not in the NBA like this. Let's take a look at streaming options. What are we doing for... I'm going to give you 15 names here for category leagues. I already gave you 4 of them, but I'm going to give you 15 more of them to take a look at. If we go 10-team leagues, again, this is going to apply to most leagues, just given the dearth of available players. Khris Middleton, Chris Dunn, Vit Krejci, Justin Champagnie, and the Dart Goga Badadze. All guys basically should be available in 10-teamers. And there should be enough there, again, just getting a game in. Get 17 Goga minutes in. 6 and 4, 2 blocks, 1 assist. It's something. It's better than nothing. Most of the time. Oh, yeah, most of the time. That's your 5 for 10s. For 12s, again, use those 5 names, but then come back to this list as well. Justin Edwards is starting for the Sixers, and I don't really know why, but he is. And if Edgecombe is out again, and Paul George remains restricted, which I believe will happen, Edwards always, if you're going to play 30 minutes, there's just always a chance, unless you're Isaac Okoro, but even that, he's had big games this season. Unless you're Tony Snell, who doesn't play in the NBA anymore, you got a chance of having a good game. And that's where Edwards is. Bub Carrington, now he's bad, clearly, but with Trae Johnson out, a couple of extra minutes, some more ball handling, you never know. In Atlanta, the night watchman, Muhammad, why are you gay? He gets his backup minutes. If anything happens to Porzingis or Okongwu, he usually steps up. Pretty good player. Nico Batum is getting around 20 minutes for the Clippers. Again, this is not very exciting, obviously, but somebody playing 20 minutes is useful. And then Cam Whitmore in Washington also has that upside ability. to score 18 points in 18 minutes with 1 rebound and 1 assist. But losing Trae Johnson means there are more shots in that second unit, which is exactly where Whitmore where he lurks. Deeper leagues. Again, all those ones are deep league options, but Marcus Smart. I would move. Jackson Hayes is going to jump way up this board if DeAndre Ayton's out. He'll move into the 10-team stream list. You've got Trendon Watford, who was very good last game. I can't really trust it, but if VJ is out, then we are more interested in Trendon. And then a couple of Lakers, Gabe Vincent and Jake LaRavia. Yeah, their minutes are way down. But we are scraping for guys who are going to play. And LaRavia in particular can pop off really at any point. Doesn't mean he will, but he can. For Yahoo points, I've got 5 names for you. We're going to start with Bilal Coulibaly. I've already told you that one. Khris Middleton's there. Restore Black is there. So is Tristan da Silva, a couple of magic replacements for Paolo Banchero. And then lastly, for those of you in the deeper formats, Justin Edwards, who can have a scoring explosion, which is great. And then ESPN points, Wendell Carter Jr. is the top of this list. He's still widely under-rostered. So is the big avocado, Andre Drummond, Khris Middleton, Bilal Coulibaly, and Anthony Black. All options for you to stream for Tuesday. That's a daily look ahead. We'll be back today with Monday's recap action across the league. I did a buy low show earlier in the day, which you can go check out, and hit the sub. Get me to 100K. I'd love it. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.